Daniel was a young Jewish man taken into exile when Jerusalem fell to Babylon. Though far from home, he never lost his identity. In a foreign land filled with idols and strange customs, Daniel remained loyal to the God of his ancestors. His wisdom, integrity, and unshakable faith quickly set him apart. Over time, he rose in rank and favor, eventually serving under King Darius of Persia, who admired Daniel's excellent spirit and planned to promote him over the entire kingdom. But Daniel's success stirred jealousy. The other high officials could find no corruption or error in him. So, they targeted the one area they knew he would never compromise, his devotion to God. What began as political rivalry soon became a spiritual battle. Daniel wasn't just a foreigner in the king's court, he was a witness to the one true God in a land that did not know him. And for that, he became a threat. The story of Daniel teaches us early on, when you live with integrity, you may not always be applauded. You may be opposed. But if your life is built on faith, opposition only proves your foundation. Unable to find fault in Daniel's character or conduct, the officials devised a clever and sinister plan. They convinced King Darius to sign an irrevocable decree: for 30 days, no one could pray to any god or man except the king himself. Anyone who broke this law would be thrown into a den of lions. On the surface, it seemed like a political gesture to honor the king. But in reality, it was a trap, designed specifically for Daniel. They knew his habit. 3 times a day, every day, Daniel would go to his upper room, face Jerusalem, kneel, and pray to his God. Not out of show, not to prove a point, but because it was his lifeline. And they knew he would never stop. The trap was set. But Daniel didn't flinch. He didn't argue or make excuses. He didn't try to pray in secret or wait until the danger passed. Instead, he simply continued what he had always done, faithfully, quietly, and boldly. In a world that was trying to silence him, Daniel's greatest strength was not in fighting back. It was in staying faithful. When Daniel heard about the decree, he didn't panic. He didn't go to plead his case before the king. He went straight to prayer. In his upper room, with windows open toward Jerusalem, he knelt down just as he always had. His actions were neither defiant nor theatrical. They were consistent. Daniel's strength didn't come from sudden courage, it came from years of spiritual discipline. What's remarkable is this: Daniel didn't pray to be delivered from the lions. He simply prayed because that's what he did. His relationship with God wasn't built on convenience or safety. It was built on trust. And even with the threat of death, he chose to commune with the Lord rather than compromise. Daniel knew he could be watched. He knew the cost. Yet he remained unshaken. And when he was arrested, he didn't resist. He didn't beg for mercy or lash out in fear. He was calm, composed, trusting in a higher court than the one that sentenced him. In a time of crisis, Daniel teaches us that obedience is not about outcomes. It's about faithfulness, no matter the cost. King Darius, though deeply troubled by the situation, could not reverse the decree. With a heavy heart, he ordered Daniel to be thrown into the den of lions. That night, the stone was sealed, the entrance shut, and Daniel was left alone in the darkness with hungry beasts. But heaven was not silent. God sent his angel to shut the mouths of the lions. Daniel spent the night in perfect peace, not because of his own strength, but because the presence of God was with him. In a place designed for death, God preserved life. The den that should have devoured him became a sanctuary. Daniel didn't know how the story would end. He wasn't promised a miracle. Yet he believed. He trusted. Not because he knew the outcome, but because he knew God. And that was enough. For many of us, the lion's den may look different. It may be betrayal, illness, persecution, or loneliness. But Daniel's story reminds us, even in the darkest place, when the world has turned against us, God still shows up. At the break of dawn, King Darius rushed to the den, his voice trembling. "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions?" And from deep within the earth, a calm voice answered, "My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight, and I have done no wrong before you, O king." Joy overwhelmed the king. Daniel was lifted out, completely unharmed. Those who conspired against him were thrown into the same den and destroyed before they even reached the ground. But Daniel's story didn't end there. King Darius issued a new decree, this time to honor the God of Daniel. He is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. Through one man's courage and constancy, an entire empire heard the name of the true God. Daniel didn't seek fame or recognition. He simply chose faithfulness. And in doing so, his life became a testimony, not only to kings and rulers, but to generations who would come to know what it means to stand for God, even when the world demands you bow.